Welcome to this week's edition of the Sharp Corner here on fansharp.com. We are heading into one of the best football weekends of the season. Pleased to be joined again by Christian Pina in Las Vegas. Christian has been giving us his selections this whole football season. We've been calling it the FanSharp 3-ball, and if you've been following along, you've been rewarded to the tune of 17 wins against 9 losses. Christian, great job, my man. Appreciate it. Lines are pretty sharp this time of year, so let's just run through this weekend's card and see what you think. Let's start in Green Bay, where the Packers are at laying 6.5 at both DraftKings and PointsBet. Both shops have 45.5 as a total. What do you see in this Green Bay LA Rams game to kick off divisional weekend?
Yeah, look, I'm always going to be a sucker for the Green Bay Packers, and I have been for years. And truthfully, last year, one of my bigger bets of the season was Green Bay pretty much throughout the playoffs. So I probably ended up, not as down as I thought, but a nice, very, money line dog price, coming to a crash and burn in the round that they lost to San Francisco in. So I'm always going to start there with Green Bay. I've always been such a fan of LaFleur, who basically did what Matt Nagy did in Chicago in year one, and just basically did it better once he got Aaron Rodgers to buy in. So it's always going to start and end there in the NFC with, for me when it comes to Green Bay. In this particular week, do I have a strong opinion whether Green Bay wins by 8 to cover or 7 to cover, their number, or 4 or 3 to not? I really don't. I think obviously with it's a very obvious question when you come to the Rams. Who's playing quarterback, the hit. Wolford, I'm a kind of a fan of the guy. I got to be honest with you, the way he can run around. Goff cannot throw the ball right now. We saw that. He was basically, I believe basically 2, if you took out the 2 explosive plays, which were all yards after the catch, was basically 2 for 2 for about 5 yards, entering that game and going into the second half since he came in. And got bailed out by his guys. And I don't even say bailed out. That's, why you put, stud receivers around you. But it was obvious he could not throw the football. I don't know that a week to get a thumb better can make you, literally make it simple, throw the ball better. I don't think that. Green Bay, again, I was a year early last year, so I'm going to start there. And to me, it's Green Bay all the way. It's a hard thing to, have your season end to injury. Maybe this would be in it, and first of all, if Goff was 100%, I think that Goff's injury is built into this line. This is probably a 3.5, 4 dead zone Vegas line. So if you're a value guy, there probably is a couple points of value on the Rams. I'm just not the take a point of value type of better. So I will side with Green Bay in this, especially at 6.5. And if you want to get crazy and try to work a middle opportunity, if you can get a 6.5 minus 110, there are some 7.5 out there in the market. If you want to try to get a game to land on a 7, only 1 out of 10 of those have to come in for that to be profitable. So.
Okay, good to know. Keep an eye on that. Let's go to the late game on Saturday, where Buffalo is hosting Baltimore in what is shaping up to be a classic snow game. Currently at both DraftKings and PointsBet, Buffalo is a 2.5-point favorite. Total posted at both shops of 49.5. What do you see there?
Yeah, this is going to be a little bit of, I think, of what people are not used to seeing or thinking. A snow game, a playoff game in Buffalo, you would think automatically has to favor the Buffalo Bills. I don't think that's the case when you look at, Buffalo is not, we talked about this with Tennessee all year. They're not who you always, knew them to be as a defense first rushing team. Baltimore averaging a significantly less amount on the ground than Baltimore when you talk about the rushing department, which of course, the quote unquote, the famous Sharp theory is snow doesn't matter. It's all about wind, this and that. At the end of the day, I think it all matters, especially with 2 young quarterbacks. But Baltimore, when you really look at this simplistically, has the advantage when you talk about a snow game that'll be played on the ground. So I actually would lean with the Baltimore Ravens in this. Lamar Jackson and company getting it done on the ground. I mean, explosive running game. J.K., they rotate. Dobbins, Edwards, especially Jackson. Allen can do it on the ground for sure, but that's not really, it's a weird thing to say, what Buffalo's built on anymore. It's through the air, and it's the big plays down the field. So I would lean with Baltimore in this one as well.
Okay, let's jump ahead to Sunday. The early game has Kansas City hosting Cleveland, the biggest point spread on the board, and you don't see this often at this stage of the playoffs, Christian. The Chiefs are laying 10 with a total of 57 or 57 and a half, depending on the book. What do you think there?
Big total, and you can get under this total a number of different ways. 45-7, Chiefs blowout still gets you there. I think that Cleveland kind of came out and shocked the world. Can they continue this or not? That's going to be the narrative. Good story. To me, I would lean with the under in this one, side and total wise. I mean, Chiefs game, Cleveland's just not ready for this Chiefs team. And, look, they shocked the world, beating a team back-to-back twice like the Steelers. Granted, I don't think that Patrick Mahomes is going to come out here and look like he's 50 years old like Ben Roethlisberger did. So that's kind of the different scenario, but it is very hard for a team to repeat. We've seen that. Unless you're the New England Patriots in a dynasty, it is so hard to go back-to-back. I do, my soul on the Chiefs repeating, not necessarily, but I don't think they falter here. Now, whether they cover 10 or not, gun to head, I think they probably do, but I do think the under is probably the best way to look at this one.
Okay. And the last game on the card to close out Sunday, New Orleans and Tampa. Right now we got the Saints laying 3 with a total of 52.
Very simple handicap. You'll hear people talk about it all week, I'm sure. Can one team beat another team three times, if I could speak, in one season? If you dig through the data, it can be done. It's not probably close as hard to do as some analysts would have you believe out there. That being said, beating Tom Brady in September, October, November is not January Tom Brady. Notoriously, right? This is Brady time. This is another one. Maybe I try to work that middle, maybe put, some teasers out there and try to, maybe loop this in with a Green Bay tease and go Bucks up or whatever the case may be. But I'm sure there's some 2.5s to 3.5s out there where you could work a middle in some form or fashion. I don't want anything to do with this game. The fact that either Tom Brady and the all-in Buccaneers are going to be out of the playoffs, or Drew Brees and company that have lost, 3-4 straight playoff games by one score are going to be out again. This is one I'd love to sound smart with you on. I want nothing to do with this game, and I'm staying far, far away from it. I really don't have much. I can see it going a million different ways, and I'm not going to sit here and try to look smart for you. And then this is probably the hardest game to call all weekend. It's not even close for me, so I'm staying far away from it. And that's really all I got on that one. I want nothing to do with it.
Christian, you don't need to prove how smart you are. And in fact, I think it's smart when there's a game that just poses no value to just pass it and enjoy the game. That's why we call this Fan Sharp. Root like a fan, bet like a sharp. And the sharp money sounds like it's not going to be in that game. If you were to take looking at this weekend card, Christian, of the 4 games, it sounds like if you had to make a play on one, it's sounding to me like Green Bay would be where you would take a stand, right?
Yeah, Green Bay, especially at that 6.5, and I'd even lean, like I said, towards that under 57.5 out there in the marketplace in that Cleveland and Kansas City game. I think that, again, both of these scenarios that we walk through, again, I very much would like it a lot more at the 6.5 when it comes to Green Bay. But that 57 number, I just don't think Cleveland's going to score enough, especially, the stock's never been higher on the Cleveland Browns, believe it or not. I mean, it seems like it's been that way for a couple of years, especially in the professional betting community. They were just a couple of, years early, as will tend to happen because you kind of see things that the general public tends not to see. Storybook ending, storybook season. Nothing to be ashamed of in Cleveland, building some great things, but especially without, Beckham there. I just don't think they're going to be able to keep up anything close to score enough to get up, over that 57 mark. So I go under there as well, but definitely 6.5 Green Bay would be the one for this weekend for me.
Okay, sounds good. There you have it. And that is the view from Las Vegas. Thanks, as always, to Christian Pina. It's been a great season, and let's keep it going here as we hit the home stretch. Christian, thanks so much. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next time.
Take care, my friend. Good luck.